This is a different kind of protesters. Now, I want you to know, Nancy Pelosi raved about them. Here she is in all of her plastic surgery glory.
No longer will the recklessness of some on Wall Street cause massive joblessness on Main Street. And God bless them for their spontaneity. It's, it's independent people coming. It's young. It's spontaneous.
Yes.
It's focused. And it's going to be effective.
Really, Nancy? There you are with John Lewis. When conservatives protested the health care bill, you tried, did everything you could to provoke the crowd by walking right through them. Against all advice from all security, you walked right through them. You failed to get a reaction, and then you lied, claiming to have been spat on, and somebody used the N-word. Where's the proof of that? All the cameras around? All of the cameras. You have the video in the crowd. You have it from all different angles, the entire walk, not one bit of evidence. And yet, you trotted that out again this weekend. In defense of a crowd that denied Congressman Lewis the chance to address the crowd. Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage over photos like this? Try this. Queer kids, why kill yourself when you can kill your parents? How about this one? The outrage over a protester in D.C. who said, quote, "They're devouring us, and now it's time we start devouring them back. Yes, I'm advocating cannibalism. We ought to cut them up and have a little ritual where we call it communion." Got a problem with that? Well, the guy's name. You heard that quote anywhere? Several New York State lawmakers are now receiving emails threatening them that they have to start taxing the wealthy. Quote, "It is time to tax the millionaires. If you don't, I'm going to pay a visit with my carbine to each of those tech companies you're so proud of and shoot every spoil Ivy League expletive I can find." Nancy, by the way, they reference in that the top 1%, and they are part of the 99. So it's not a Tea Party person. I don't know about you, but I've heard this kind of rhetoric before. Yeah, I have. From Che, from Lenin, from Stalin, from Mao, from Adolf, from all of them. It always ends the same. It always just starts the same way and ends the same way. Do the people in Washington really think the guy that's holding the head of Goldman's CEO on a pike, you really think they're playing around? You really think they're not going to come for you? They're complaining about the bailouts that you voted for, Congressman. You betrayed them too. Lewis is a civil rights hero in America. I don't care if you agree with him or not. I don't agree with him. But he's a civil rights hero. The man has done amazing things. And this is how we treated him? What is your out? You need one. Because you're the enemy. Nancy, I don't know what you're thinking, but these people will burn down houses, they'll burn down your vineyard, they'll burn down your private jet, whatever else you own, because you voted for TARP. They believe you're in bed. Nancy, please, read this. Read this. You won't, because you're arrogant. You're so hell-bent on trying to score political points, you're so drunk with power that you're blind and you're not seeing it coming. I warn anyone in America within the sound of my voice, please listen to me. I told you this would happen 2 years ago, and people laughed at me. Please, I warn you now. If you have any kind of money, if you have any kind of means, and I mean you and your husband or your wife make $100,000 a year, that's money. They'll take it. I warn anyone that is a CEO, God help the bankers, anyone who's a CEO of a big business or runs a small business, I don't care if it's a gas station or a convenience store. I warn anyone who is Jewish or stands with the Jews, anyone who is Christian outside of the Westboro Baptist Church, and I warn politicians on both sides of the aisle, you will pray for the help of the Tea Party. You thought they were radical? Oh, no, no. You're about to meet the radicals. The Tea Party wants the Constitution. They want a return to the law. They want an end to the criminal corruption on a global scale. And in the end, mark my words, it's going to be mainly people that are viewing this show and Tea Party members and the 912 members that will hide your sorry ass when the revolutionaries come to get you and haul you out in the street and kill you. We'll do it, because that's who we are. But understand this, once the revolutionaries are gone, if you have done something criminal, you're not going to be killed in the streets, but you will go to jail after a fair and just trial. The Tea Party doesn't believe in social justice or collective justice or collective salvation. The Tea Party believes, as our founders did, in equal justice under the law for all. Now, let me give you an update. We showed you almost 200 days ago Stephen Lerner planning this. Francis Fox Piven planning this. The Blaze now has new video of Francis Fox Piven setting this up in classes. This has been in the work. It's been in the works for a long time. And let me show you something new. The connection now, finally, to the Working Families Party. Working Families Party, I don't know if you remember them, but they are connected to SEIU. They're also connected to Acorn. You know, Acorn, the one helping the, pimps and the would-be child sex slave traffickers with tax evasion. If you're a fan of the talk show on Fox that we did, you'll remember the scam we uncovered and called Crime Inc. It was a global warming scam. We showed you all of the people that were involved in that. And I remember in the last show, I said, you know who the grand wizard is of Crime Inc.? And everybody said, oh, it's Soros. No, it's not George Soros. It was Joel Rogers. Joel Rogers. Now, who started the Working Families Party? Joel Rogers did. That guy. This has been in the works for a very long time. Remember, the Tides Foundation started in the 1980s. Joel Rogers started this movement in the 1990s. They are paying people now, the Working Families Party, paying people to protest at the morally depraved mosh pit that is Occupy Wall Street. Quote, fight to hold Wall Street accountable now. Make a difference and get paid. Right there. And by the way, I just want you to know, this has all been scrubbed from the internet. You'd think the people who are in bed with Google would know that. Let me go back to Joel Rogers. Joel Rogers is the guy in the 1990s who said this in The Nation. The Democratic Party has an abusive relationship with the progressives. Democrats take our time and our money, then almost always move it to the right. The best way to end an abusive relationship is to leave it. We need a meaningful threat of exit from the Democratic Party, a new party that can punish unaccountable Democrats by running against them and reward nice ones by not. They had their intent on destroying the Democratic Party, and they have. They've gotten inside and they've destroyed it. The Democratic Party, as you know it, is over. There are revolutionaries now in charge. It took a while, that was 1992, but they're there. And now they're doing it from the useful idiots. They're training the useful idiots in the hideouts of the Marxists, the radicals, the revolutionary, and the Islamic radicals. They're called universities. And you're paying to fund that hideout. Meanwhile, they're paying our kids $600 a week. And, here's the plus side. They get to have sex with people in tarps while eating smoked salmon and defecating on cop cars. You see this guy? This guy. He's got gray hair. Who are these losers? Make no mistake, it would be very easy to laugh at these people, but don't. Don't. We are entering very difficult and dangerous times. You are witnessing the destruction of your country, and I urge you to turn the mainstream media off. You are not getting the truth. You're not. Have you heard these facts everywhere else? Is anybody really leading the news with this, or are they doing the typical crap? I don't know. I don't watch it anymore. There's this union guy that you probably haven't seen on television and the mainstream media. He's not very good at hiding his hired protesters. Remember, Nancy Pelosi and the press will report that this is all grassroots, not AstroTurf. Here he is.
How did you organize this? How did you organize this group of people?
Our volunteers in the organization, some of them are volunteers for us.
¿Este hombre dónde es?
Oh, es de la iglesia.
¿De iglesia? ¿Y
¿Quién es el jefe?
de dónde? ¿Dónde trabajan ustedes?
No, nosotros no sabemos.
¿Y este hombre es su jefe?
Sí, nosotros venimos, como decía, reclamando los derechos de cada quien, nuestro dinero.
¿Y qué estás protestando? ¿Qué estás haciendo hoy?
Aquí, pidiendo el dinero a los que nos han quitado.
Are you paying them?
Some of them are volunteers. Some of them aren't. I can't identify them.
Well, he might be blind. I'm not really sure. He can't identify them. What was it that Nancy said? Oh, yeah, that's right. Spontaneous. Radicals, revolutionaries, Islamicists are working to overthrow the United States of America, and they are uniting on that goal. Remember when everybody said that couldn't happen? Well, what would the Islamists and the revolutionaries and the radicals and the communists, what would they have to do? Look, I'm not a scholar. I don't know all this stuff. As I say, I guess, but I don't. I use my brain. Here's something that's from 1970 I'll get into a little bit later. This is Lenin is with us in our struggle. Who's that? Oh, yeah. This is a speech that's a speech that a really, really prominent Arab socialist, the Supreme Executive Committee of the Arab Socialist Union, gave in front of the proletariat in the USSR in 1970. There's a long history here. I don't know it, but you'd think somebody in the think tanks in Washington might. You'd think somebody in the press would tell the truth. You're not getting the truth. You might get pieces of it, but are they putting it all together? Are they putting it all together and showing you what's coming? Let me give you the latest. This will make sense if you look at this board. Here's the latest from Iran. A revolution and a comprehensive movement against corruption in the U.S. is in the making. The last phase will be the collapse of the Western capitalist system. Gang, we are in the last phase. How do I know? Well, because this isn't going away anytime soon. And up next, I'm going to show you this line. From Egypt, radicals here in America. I'm going to show you a really interesting speaker, somebody who wasn't having sex in a tarp this weekend, at least I don't think. He's an Arab speaker at the Occupy Wall Street protest. I'll show that to you next.